Hey guys, CryptoDad here again. Thanks for joining me on the Saturday night live stream. Live from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. We'll talk about Bitcoin. We'll talk about the news. Going to move some crypto around for you guys. We'll talk about altcoins. And as always, I'll do my very best to get to your questions and see if we can't troubleshoot your problems here live. So welcome again. We had a pullback last week. I think probably we were already in it when we were on the stream last week. But we've had a little bit of a relief rally, I guess you want to call it, or a bounce back, or a dead cat bounce, or whatever the terminology you want to apply to it. I think a little bit of it was the relief of the continuing resolution, which not really a good thing. They're just sort of kicking the can down the road. They haven't really had a balanced budget in the Congress in many, many years, and they just keep sort of extending the deadline. But the fact that they might have gone into a partial government shutdown kind of spooked the market, along with a lot of other stuff, tariffs and inflation and all that. But the fact that the continuing resolution got passed, whether that's good or bad, or whether you think it's good or bad, depending on which side of the political aisle you're on, did reduce some of the uncertainty in the market. And at least the crypto market had a little bit of a rally that day when they announced that Schumer was going to support the CR. Well, I'm getting in the weeds. Anyway, the markets, we'll look at the markets, and then I want to do some crypto transfers for you guys. We did one a couple weeks ago where I was transferring Bitcoin towards the end of the stream. And sometimes Bitcoin takes a while to hit the wallet. Sometimes it hits the wallet within a few moments. Other times it takes 10, 15, sometimes 20 minutes to hit the wallet. So before we jump into the news, I'm going to just initiate some crypto transfers. I wanted to, let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and record this. I wanted to focus on crypto transfers. They seem to be kind of a mystery to a lot of people. And then whenever I do a demo of one transfer from, say, Coinbase to a Ledger, I get a lot of questions like, could you show me how to do this on Uphold? Or could you show me how to do this on Binance? Or could you show me how to do this with a Trezor or something like that? And although the interface is slightly different for each exchange and each wallet, the concept is pretty much the same. It's basically just a transfer from point A to point B. You need a destination address, and then from your source, you need to click send, however you do it. So I'm going to do this. I'll do from exchanges to wallets. We'll get that out of the way. And then maybe we can play around with wallets later. I do want to talk about Ledger tonight. There's a story that involves Ledger and crypto hardware wallet security, specifically the integrity check, or what we call the genuine check, between Ledger and Trezor. We'll cover that in a minute, but I did want to go over the integrity check, what it is, what it's all about, what it means for you, and it could, knowing that there is a genuine check should alleviate a lot of concerns that people have about tampering. So I wanted to cover integrity checks. So, all right, let's check in with everybody, and then I'll start moving some crypto around. Let's see where we're at. I hope to God you all can hear me. I hate when I get through my intro and then I look at the screen and see everyone screaming at me that the mic is muted. But I think we're okay, right? Everyone can hear me? Good. So Andreas Ebert was here early. Early on, as soon as I posted the live stream, he jumped in and said hello. So thanks for being here early. Kenny also here early. Mark Schlossberg from Slovakia. Good to have you back. Mr. Miski, always a pleasure. Simon is here passing out, or it's Dustin and Shadow that passes out these memberships. That's very generous of you and kind of promotes the whole idea of membership. So I really appreciate that. W, Hands Hannah 350, Lucian 530. Let's see, E. Poston from Colorado, Dusted in Shadow, as I mentioned, Mega Falkward, HR by Catherine. Good to have you back. 10 minutes to midnight. I love that handle. That's a cool handle. Finally made it home in time from work in time for CryptoDad. That's great. Yeah, pull up a cup of Joe, sit back and relax, and we're gonna play with crypto tonight. Paul Stefanik, good to have you. Fred McIntyre, thanks for the reminder. Everybody smash that like button if you like me. I hope you like me. The Werewolf, Fax Fatal. All right. And then JC, the man that taught me many years ago how to buy crypto and use the Nano to hold my crypto. Thank you, CryptoDad. Thank you for that, JC. I've been around. Yeah, I'm not only am I an older type influencer on YouTube, I've been around on YouTube for a while. So it's good to be here. Mike P. from Canada. Good to have you here. And Phil Gower, pardon me. All right, let's start moving some crypto. I'm going to move to my ledger tonight. I think maybe I'll play around with Tangem just a tad. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to try that one live. We could get into the weeds on that, but maybe I'll do that in a bit. Let's see here. So what I want to do is, let's see. Let's go to Coinbase. We'll start off. Make a decision. Oh, we want to send some Bitcoin from Coinbase, right? I've already got the Bitcoin in my account. I've already bought it using cash. And let's go back over here to Ledger, and we'll go to our accounts. Now, I've said this many times, but you can manage more than one device in a single copy of Ledger Live. Of course, the balances will all mix together. You can't manage separate balances, or, so if I've had some people say stuff like, hey, I've got this friend and she's got my crypto on my ledger, and now I want to send her crypto off my ledger. That's all well and good, but it's not really in one copy of Ledger Live. It's kind of difficult to manage multiple accounts. It would be cool if they had profiles like Netflix and Amazon Prime, where each person had their own separate, playlist and history and all that. And, for Ledger Live, if everybody had their balances separate, it would be cool, but they don't. But you can manage multiple devices. I've got a Bitcoin STAX. I have a Ledger STAX and a Ledger Flex, and both of these are managing separate accounts, right? So, and I name them accordingly so I don't get them mixed up. Because if you try to manage crypto and you've got the wrong device attached, you'll get an error message and you'll get frustrated and you'll think, oh my gosh, what happened? And we see this a lot when people reset their devices and things like that inadvertently by entering the PIN 3 times incorrectly. And then instead of restoring the device to its original configuration, which they should do, they set it up as brand new, and now they have the same device but in a different configuration, and it no longer will manage the crypto in the accounts. So that oops, something went wrong error message plagues a lot of people. So you want to avoid that by making sure that run your hardware checks, make sure your device is configured properly, and name the accounts accordingly so you don't get them mixed up. So let's drop this Bitcoin in my stacks. I'm just going to click on the account there and do a receive, and I'll hit continue. Now, I could bypass this by saying you don't have your device and get the address, but it's best practice to do the hardware check each time. And basically what I mean by that is when I hit continue here, it's looking for the device. And let's see, I think maybe I can do this here, if that works. Yeah. So I need to open the Bitcoin app, so I'll just tap open there, and then it's going to want me to authorize. Whoops. Let's go. You know what? Let's do this. Let's do that. Yeah, I got this message here that says something went wrong. So let's reconnect, or let's retry. And there we go. yeah, sometimes you just have to try again, you know, things like that. So I swipe a little bit. There's the address. We're in good shape. Now, before I hit confirm, I want to grab that address because when you hit confirm, this window goes away, which is kind of an irritation. But yeah, so when I hit confirm, notice that the address disappears, right? It goes back to this. So you want to make sure you grab that address while you have the chance, right? Let's get this thing out of the way. Let's come back over here. And now we've got the address. So it's in our clipboard. Let's go back over here to Coinbase. Now, if you click right on the word or the BTC, you'll get the wallet interface. If you click over here, you'll get trading interface, right? If you want to trade. But if you want to manage your balance, your Bitcoin balance in your Coinbase account, click right on the words and you'll get, you know, the send to interface. So we'll paste in that Bitcoin address. Now that's a unique Bitcoin address because every Bitcoin wallet always generates a fresh sending address. So, and this confuses people that when they paste their address, well, the first thing that confuses them is what the heck am I supposed to do here, right? And it says email, address, invoice, or ENS, which is very confusing. Really, what it wants you to do is put whatever it is here. And mostly, you know, it should be an address, usually. I mean, I've very rarely used Coinbase to send to somebody through their email, but it's possible. But it's not really crypto-centric, right? I don't know. Maybe you're sending to someone who also has a Coinbase account. Anywho, another point of confusion is that you get the address in here and then you see it down here below. What is this? I mean, why can't I just paste the address in there and then go on to the next step? No, I have to click here to tell it, yes, that's where I want to send it, which is weird. But anyway, all right, so it's going to cost me $0.812 or 81 cents as sort of a Bitcoin withdrawal fee. But it's sort of like Coinbase passing along the blockchain fee to me. That's a bit high for $200, but hey, that's crypto. There are certain things we just have to deal with crypto, which are blockchain fees, which can be high sometimes. All right, so they've added a lot of warnings lately because there's so many scams of people convincing you to log into Coinbase and transfer crypto to someone, you know, some scammer, you know. So there's a lot of warnings here. We know what we're doing. We're sending crypto from Coinbase to our wallet. We'll hit send now. Now they want my passkey. Now this is kind of cool because if we go over here to this camera, I'm going to quit the Bitcoin app, right? And we'll go back here and I'm going to use my security key, which is my Ledger. I'll hit next and watch what happens. It launches the security key app automatically and then tells me to authorize using my device. The button says log in, which is a bit strange, but that's okay. So that's my way of authorizing transactions in Coinbase. That's my two-factor. I use my Ledger STAX for my two-factor. All right, that's done. All right, that's cool. Let's go back to this one here. Let's do a withdrawal, and let's see the stacks. Okay, so I want to do the stacks, and we're going to do it to Rabby. So let's hit accounts. Yeah, this would be a good exercise. We're going to hit Ethereum stacks, and we're going to do a receive to get the address. And let's go ahead and do the hardware check. Now it wants me to open Ethereum. All right, and it's going to show me the address and ask me to verify. There it is. All right, I can see it on my screen as well. All right, we'll just grab that address. And now we can just confirm. So we always want to do hardware checks. That way we know that the device is matched up to the account. Right? So sometimes people do weird stuff like resetting their device, and then they play around with an account in Ledger Live that no longer has a device, and they get crazy. I mean, I've dealt with it, and it is frustrating. You've got an account full of crypto and you can't access it because you've reset your device or done something weird. So yeah, you got to be cognizant and mindful when dealing with crypto. All right, now that I've got that address, I'm going to go back to Coinbase and what am I going to do? Was I going to send? Oh, yeah. Okay, so let's go in here. Let's see. I've got some US dollar coin. I've got some US dollar. Now, someone asked me last week something about which is better. It doesn't really matter trading-wise. They're basically interchangeable. So, for example, if we go to Ethereum here, and we say we want to buy some Ethereum US dollar, you'll see that you can use cash or US dollar coin. They're basically interchangeable. So it really doesn't matter. However, one distinction that I just thought about here is that if you're storing your cash as dollar coin, as stable coin, Coinbase will give you interest on that, right? You can earn 4% APY, which is not huge, but it's much better than a savings account. If you're going to store cash in Coinbase, you're probably better off doing US dollar coin, right? So I'm going to send this US dollar coin to that Ethereum wallet. Interesting, right? What's going to happen when I send US dollar coin to an Ethereum wallet? Well, let's find out. Let's paste it in. And now I got to click it down here. And now here's the interesting thing. Instead of the Ethereum network, I'm going to use Base because it's free. Now, a lot of people might think, hey, choose the free option, right? Without really understanding what Base network means, right? But we do. We're going to go ahead and do it. Let's hit the max that we got in there right now. They give us the warning. It's not going to cost us any transfer fees. That's good stuff. And it wants me to confirm on my security key again. Let's look over here. Now, I do need to make sure that I'm out of the Ethereum app before I do this, right? I'm going to go ahead and choose security key and hit next, and watch how it automatically launches the security key app and then asks me to log in. Pretty cool, right? That's very good two-factor authentication on a crypto account. All right, and so off it goes. Now, if we go over here to Ledger Live, and we're like, hey, where did that US dollar coin go? Now, some of you might be clever and say, well, of course it's going to go in the Ethereum wallet as a token, right? You are correct, class. Unfortunately, I sent it in Base format, so it's not going to show up in the Ethereum wallet, right? Now, I am using this same ledger to manage a Rabby wallet. So let's check Rabby. And let's see where we stand here. Let's go in here. Let's look in our Base. And there's that US dollar coin, right? We just sent it. It was really fast. We didn't have to pay very many fees. And now we can manage it. And notice here that this is Ledger STAX. And it's the exact same address that we just sent over here to Ledger Live. So why don't we see it as an Ethereum token? Because we use the Base network. Now we can also add a Base account, which I think I've done here. Yeah, let's see, is this, I forgot to name it accordingly. So I don't know which device it is. Let's check. I'm just going to skip through and, okay, that is the same address, right? So now that we know, and we can even check over here, and see that the US dollar coin is in the base wallet, right? So let's call this one, what did we do before? We put stacks last, right? Okay, so we'll do that here. Let's call this base, whoops, base stacks. All right, so we know. All right, and then we can, come on. Base. Who would have thought that the typing would have been the one thing that would trip me up? Okay, there we go. All right. So some simple transfers. I was going to do some stuff from Kraken too. And, you know, the reason we did that transfer first is because we're waiting. The Bitcoin already hit the wallet, right? There it is, right? The last time we did this, it took forever, right? So it didn't take very long at all for it to hit the wallet. Let's go over to Kraken. And we've got some Kraken here. I'm sorry, we've got some value in our portfolio. But interesting, they've changed the layout of their portfolio now. It used to be that whatever crypto you had, the highest balance of was there at the top. But now they have it categorized, right? You've got crypto, and then down here you've got a cash category, and then down at the bottom is stablecoin. So when I dropped that stablecoin in here, I kind of wondered, why isn't it up here? Well, they categorize it now to kind of let you keep it straight. Okay. What I wanted to do with this Tether was buy some Solana. So we'll do that. Let's hit SOL here and grab that. And we'll spend $200 on that Solana. All right. I don't know. Let's see what the fee is going to be there. About $2. So again, we're getting hit with those fees. Tether charges pretty high fees when, you know, I don't know what it is about Tether, but they do. I don't think it's Tether's fault. I think it's the way the exchanges handle it. But anyhow, all right. So now we've got Solana in our account. And let's send that to Ledger as well. We can play around with Tangem in a bit. So we'll go into our Solana stacks. We're going to use stacks. We'll hit receive, continue, and then once more, let's take a look at this device. Make sure we do our hardware check. Should launch Solana and then show us the address. All right, there's the address, and it matches the one we see here. Make sure we grab that address before we confirm on the device, because the address is going to disappear when we do that, right? So we get back to this, but that's okay. We got the address. We don't need that. Let's go back to Kraken, and we go into the Solana, and we do withdraw. And I think I may have already set up this address. Let's see. Tangem ring. No. So, I guess not. Let's hit manage address. Let's hit add new. We'll call this one Solana stacks because I'm sending it to my stacks. We'll paste in the Solana address of my stacks there. We'll hit continue. We need to confirm this. Let's see here. There it is. Confirm. All right, that's done. We can go back. Okay, and now we should see that Solana stacks address. Actually, I think it was in there as something else. No, I guess not. Okay. We'll send it all because I know what I'm doing. Normally, you would want to do a small test, but we're only dealing with $200. It's not a big deal. And I'm pretty confident that I did it right, or we could lose 200. We'll see. Let's hit withdrawal. Now, Solana goes pretty fast. Notice that Kraken doesn't ask me to authorize when I make withdrawals. That's because I have to use my stacks when I log in, right? The login, every time I log in, I use my stacks as my two-factor to get logged in. Once I'm logged in, it just allows me to make withdrawals without having to reauthorize on the stacks. All right, let's go back here. Let's hit a sync. And it might be a bit before we see the Solana. So let's jump into the news, guys. Thanks for being patient. We'll play with Uphold in a bit with some Kava. No, Kava. Kaspa. We'll try it out. Anyhow, thanks for hanging in there with me. For those of you who tune in just for the news, I apologize for that little segue there, but I wanted to, and as it turned out, we didn't need to because we got the Bitcoin hit the wallet almost immediately. Let's see. I think this was my headline. Bitcoin posed to reclaim 90,000 according to derivative metrics. Now, there is spot trading where people go on exchanges and just buy Bitcoin. And then there's a whole other market where people are buying derivatives and futures and options and things like that. And people that are buying future contracts and options and derivatives and things like that are betting on the future, right? They're betting that Bitcoin might go up or down. So based on the current purchases of futures and options and derivatives, you get a pretty good idea where Bitcoin is heading, or at least where people think Bitcoin is heading. So by using those metrics, it's according to this article, we might be ready to reclaim 90,000. So we'll see. Let's break it down here. Bitcoin failed to sustain levels above 85,000 on March 14th, despite a 1.9 gain in the S&P 500 index. Now that was that relief rally I was telling you about based on the passage of the continuing resolution for the budget, right? Or the non-budget budget. More importantly, it has been a week since Bitcoin last traded at 90,000, prompting traders to question whether the bull market is truly over and how long selling pressure will persist. If you're into investing at all, you're going to hear constant talk about, is it a bull market? Is it a bear market? Is it over? Is it beginning? Are we still in it? So topic of conversation never stops when it comes to, are we in or out of a bull market, or on our way out or on our way in, right? From a derivatives perspective, Bitcoin metrics have shown resilience despite a 30% drop from its all-time high of 109,354 on January 20th. Keep in mind, January 20th wasn't that long ago. It hasn't even been 2 months since Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So we're not that far out time-wise from an all-time high, right? But the question is, now that we've fallen away from the all-time high, are we going to revisit it? Is the bull market over, or are we in a down cycle, right? And that's what this article is addressing. The Bitcoin basis rate, which measures the premium of monthly contracts over spot markets, has recovered to healthy levels after briefly signaling bearish sentiment on March 13th. Traders typically demand a 5 to 10% annualized premium to compensate for longer settlement periods. A basis rate below this threshold signals weak demand from leveraged buyers, while the current 5% rate is lower than the 8% recorded 2 weeks ago. It remains within neutral territory. And then the thinking here is that with central banks getting involved in crypto custody, or crypto, with its newfound legitimacy, central banks will be probably buying and selling Bitcoin. We'll see, right? Bitcoin price action has closely tracked the S&P 500, suggesting that factors driving investor risk aversion may not be directly tied to the top cryptocurrency. However, this also challenges the idea of Bitcoin as a non-correlated asset, as its price behavior has aligned more closely with traditional markets, at least in the short term. We've talked about that over the years. I've been doing the live stream since 2017. Back in those days, the crypto market was completely unrelated to the traditional stock market. There was really hardly any correlation whatsoever. But as time went by, I forget, there was quite a bit of a stretch there. I think 2022 through 24, and maybe starting a bit before that, there was quite a strong correlation between the traditional markets and the Bitcoin market. What we would like to see is what they mention here is that it's a non-correlated asset, right? Because Bitcoin, some people think of it as a reserve currency, right? Something that people should run to when the stock market is down, like gold, right? But we haven't really seen that. It's been pretty much behaving as a risk asset, which is how most people think of it, right? So we'll see. So as it still remains dependent on the stock market, fears of an economic recession are affecting the crypto market. But the derivatives are showing no sign of stress. And so hopefully the sentiment based on what can be gleaned from derivatives and futures, we're going to revisit 90,000. We'll see, right? And then I've got this one, which is another analysis, which needs to be a weekly close above 81K. Now, Dan will tell you about a weekly close, very important to people. Even though Bitcoin trades 24/7, there's still a lot of people that keep their eye on the weekly figures, right? And the weekly close occurs on Sunday night, Eastern Standard Time at 8 p.m. That we've had a recent time change. It used to be 7 p.m. So that's the weekly close price. So we're hoping that Bitcoin can stay above 81,000. If it's below 81,000 on Sunday night, then charting wise, we have a pretty good argument for lower prices in the, could be down to 76,000 by next week if it doesn't stay above 81,000. I think Dan and we had talked about this in the investors meeting, was that Dan's target was 88,000. It needs to be above 88,000 and hopefully around 94 on its weekly close. I don't think it's going to hit 94 on its weekly close. Whether it'll be over 88,000 tomorrow doesn't look very likely either, but hopefully it can hang on above 81,000, right? Because we're already above that now, right? Of course, I can't see it here. Okay, Bitcoin. Yeah, it's at 84,412. So there we go. So just hang in there, Bitcoin. Let's see. We've also got some action in the altcoins. Sol, XRP, Zoom 5% higher as Bitcoin grapples with the 84K level. XRP rose 5% following a strong week for closely related Ripple Labs, which bagged a payments license in the United Arab Emirates and, per sources, is said to be on track for a close of its long-running court case against the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. Solana saw 5%, with Sol's rise following the conclusion of a contentious SIMD-0228 in favor of maintaining its current inflation schedule. It is a proof-of-stake coin, and people that are managing nodes have a vote in how the blockchain is managed, and there was a vote to maintain its current inflation schedule, and that sort of gave some relief to people over Sol. So we've got that. And oh yeah, are we going to talk about, okay, so yes, Bitcoin is down off its highs, and according to that earlier article, we were looking at about a 30% drop off its high. But is that the worst? It sounds pretty bad. And if you bought Bitcoin at 109, you're probably not too happy. But is this the worst crypto downturn ever? Well, not really. Historically speaking, no. Despite Bitcoin's decline, analysts say it is not the worst crypto downturn in history, pointing to past cycles. Let's see here. We reached the all-time highs of 106 in December of 2024. I thought that was January of this year, but we'll see. What were the most brutal sell-offs? Okay. The most recent sell-off is not the worst. The collapse of Mt. Gox in, what was that, 2014? That was the most brutal pullback of Bitcoin. Of course, back in those days, it was not easy to get your hands on Bitcoin. It was not kind of, there were not a lot of retail people holding Bitcoin back then. It was mostly Bitcoin enthusiasts and hobbyists, and Mt. Gox was one of the few centralized exchanges where you could buy Bitcoin, and a lot of people held their Bitcoin on the exchange rather than keeping it in a wallet. Even hardware wallets weren't around much back then. So when the Mt. Gox collapse happened, a lot of people got wiped out, and the crypto market also. Let's see. There were some other ones. Oh, it did. Okay, so they're just comparing it to Mt. Gox. Now, I don't know how this pullback compares to 2022, but a lot of people got wiped out in 2022 when we had the FTX collapse and the Terra Luna collapse. A lot of people got wiped out then. We also had the crypto winter of 2018. Of course, Bitcoin hit its all-time high of around 20,000 in late 2017, early 2018, and then had a brutal pullback for a couple of years after that. So I don't know percentage-wise, but we've definitely had some rough pullbacks. Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are very volatile. And so you're going to see pullbacks, right? It's just part of the game. All right. And then I wanted to go to this story here. Hardware wallet Ledger helps competitor Trezor resolve security vulnerability. So hardware wallet provider Trezor has patched a security flaw in 2 of its latest models after competitor firm Ledger's open source research arm discovered a vulnerability in their microcontrollers. Ledger Donjon, or I thought it was Dojon, but I think it's Donjon, acknowledged Trezor has made several security advancements of late, but found cryptographic operations could still be performed on the microcontroller of Trezor Safe 3 model, which could make them vulnerable to more advanced attacks. So Ledger has a whole section of their company that tries to attack their own wallet and competitors' wallets. And they discovered this vulnerability in the Trezor Safe 5. And the Trezor Safe 5 has a secure element chip, but it also has a separate microprocessor. And they found a vulnerability that allowed an attacker to bypass the genuine check. Now, this type of attack is a tampering attack. It could only occur if someone got their hands on a Trezor in the logistical distribution chain, which is pretty unlikely. When things are getting shipped back and forth to warehouses and within transport, it's pretty unlikely that someone is going to be able to intercept a bunch of devices in the legitimate distribution chain, right? That would require them breaking into a warehouse or a truck or a transport plane or a container ship, or however they get from the factory to the distribution channel. Now, some people say stuff like, maybe in the back of a Best Buy, somebody gets a hold of a case, but But even that is unlikely because they would have to be rogue employees or someone that, broke in after hours and managed to get in there with all their equipment to, alter these circuit boards. Pretty unlikely. But still, if the vulnerability exists, if it's possible, then, it should be fixed, right? We should try to be as tamper-proof as possible. I've said this many times. The largest attack surface for crypto hardware wallets is tricking people into revealing their backup phrase. The backup phrase contains a human-readable format of the private key that the device generates, and you use that as your backup in case something happens to your device. And scammers are constantly trying to trick people into revealing that. Much easier than a hardware supply chain attack. But Ledger let Trezor know about this, and Trezor has patched it up. And Ledger said that it's better that we all work together to keep crypto self-custody secure. It's better overall. And I've heard this many times from Ledger. They feel like instead of attacking each other's products, it's better for the crypto community to work together and support each other across different wallet companies, right? And that's a great sentiment. All right, so I think that's it with the news. I'm not sure where I want to go from here. I'm thinking, I don't know if I want to talk about the integrity check. Let me just catch up with the stream real quick to make sure that there aren't any burning questions out there. Rex, have you ever seen weekly debit card spending limits on Coinbase? Yes, I don't use my debit card on Coinbase anymore. I strictly use my ACH bank interface through Plaid. The ATM option historically was more expensive than using a wire transfer or an ACH bank transfer. The debit card option, back in the early days, a lot of people didn't want to give out information to an exchange, like their name and their address and their bank account, but they were willing to do debit card transactions. And so that was, a lot of people were sort of dipping their toe by using debit card transactions on Coinbase. But I haven't done it in a while because they charged more for it. So let me see. If I hit deposit cash here, let's take a look at my bank stuff. I still have my debit card in here. Of course, I've been issued a new debit card since I put it in here, so there's a new expiration date. So as you can see, I haven't used it in a long time. I could go in there and update the expiration date to the current one. But yeah, there's a limit, and I believe this is a weekly limit, and they list them over here on the side. Now, the interesting thing about Coinbase is that these limits are specific to each user. So based on your behavior, the amount of time you've had the account, the number of transfers, the amount of transfers, all those metrics come into play when Coinbase sets your limits. I've had this account for many years, and as you can see, I have a pretty high ATM. I have a pretty high ACH limit, weekly limit, and on both my banks, all three of them. But the debit card limit is lower. Not sure why. Not sure that I would want to do 5,000 on my debit card. Also, my debit card has its own bank limits. So if I were to try to buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin using my debit card, my bank would decline it because I have daily limits on my ATM card. Now, I know a lot of those daily limits are for ATM, actually getting cash out of a machine. I think I've made pretty high purchases on Amazon using um, my debit card. I think that's a debit card on my Amazon account and not an ACH. I think it's actually, yeah, I've got my debit card connected, one of my payment on Amazon, and I can make $1,000 purchases and they usually go through. But they may not go through when you're using Coinbase, right? Because it's basically your debit card clearing through Coinbase, and your debit card might object because it might seem shady to them. So yeah, so there's not just limits on Coinbase's side, there's limits on the bank side too. So you have to take all of that into account. I've been using my bank account ACH with Plaid for many years. My banks never object. Of course, I don't make $20,000 trades in my account. They're usually, maybe 1,000, a couple thousand at the most. But yeah, so they do exist. But like I said, they're different for everybody. Let's check that Solana that we were going to send in. There it is. So the Solana came in, 1.4 Solana, which we transferred from Uphold. Let's see, what else we got? Anyone? I've actually commented on the X asking Ledger if they could possibly add the ability for device view in Ledger Live in addition to asset view that it currently has. Oh, right, Fred. Yeah. Yeah, you kind of have to manage that on your own. Now, I don't know how difficult that might be for Ledger, but it would be nice for Ledger to somehow indicate a device. But that would require, it still seems like it would require user intervention in there, because the Ledger Live is a crypto wallet first and foremost, and it only sees the private key. Actually, it never sees the private key. It only sees the public wallet information. So it really has no idea what kind of device it is connected to. And it really shouldn't, right? Because people are always suspicious of hacks. What if, I've got a USB cable. What if that gets hacked? Well, the long and short of it is, the only information being passed along the cable is cryptographically formatted information, like the address and the request and the approval, cryptographically formatted, going back and forth. If the device were somehow gleaning the serial number of the device and what type of device it was, that would be helpful to the end user, but to determine, hey, this is a Ledger Nano S or whatever. But it could it could add complexity that really doesn't need to be added when we're dealing with crypto, right? We want to keep crypto secure and safe, and we don't want a whole bunch of extra information going back and forth across those, the interface between the device and Ledger Live. So yeah, that sounds like a great idea, but I just think security-wise, they're probably not going to implement something like that. So the only thing it'll do is say, that's not the right, key. This is not the wallet that created this account. And it's up to you to figure out what you did wrong, which is, I got the wrong device attached. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of an interesting idea. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up, Fred. Let's see. Coinbase UI is very weird. Just too many steps. Yeah. Coinbase UI is kind of weird. Afternoon. Goofy Dude is here. Christopher Tain from Melbourne. Do I think the U.S. is going into a recession? I can't make those kind of predictions. There was been a lot of talk back and forth. If Trump's going to come and save the economy, fix inflation, all that stuff. That's typical, a political bluster. There's been talk that, there's a recession baked in to our, the wild fiat currency printing that was done for COVID. See, we still really haven't left that behind. There was trillions of dollars created out of thin air during COVID, and it flooded into the economy, and it's still there, right? It's still a thing. It's not just going to go away. Maybe they can manage things and recover from that, but that is a huge thing overhanging our economy, is that all this trillions of dollars that were spent during COVID. Not only spent, but created out of thin air, right? They don't talk about that much. But the Trump administration will refer to the Biden, spending money going like it's going out of style. They were spending a lot of money, on the stimmy checks and all that stuff, even though I think Trump did some stimmies too, right? But whether or not that's all going to lead to a recession, we don't know. The Bureau of Labor Statistics massages numbers. We may already be in a recession, based on older metrics, right? So we don't know, right? And is that a good thing or a bad thing? Economies are supposed to have cycles anyway, right? It's not the end of the world. A depression is the one that's the bad thing, right? But whether or not the U.S. will have a recession, I don't know. Let me go over here and talk a little bit about the integrity check. Let's just do that tonight. I'm not going to have time to do the uphold thing. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll go back here. So I mentioned earlier that Ledger contacted Trezor about the integrity check that could possibly be bypassed. Let me get out of this. Okay, let me just quit Ledger Live here. What is the integrity check? Well, the integrity check, Ledger calls it a genuine check. What this means is that when you connect your device to Ledger Live, the official Ledger Live software, there is a connection established between your device and the Ledger servers. There is a cryptographic handshake going on. So each device has its own embedded key, which confirms itself on the Ledger servers, so that when this little cryptographic handshake or dance occurs, the device proves that it is genuine and that it hasn't been tampered with, that its software and firmware has not been altered, right? So let's go back and take a look. Now, when you, and we'll go back into Ledger Live. When you launch Ledger Live, when you do your initial setup, there is a step where it runs the genuine check and it tells you, hey, you just passed the genuine check. But a lot of people don't realize that whenever you connect to Ledger Live and go to the My Ledger section, it does the genuine check every single time, right? So let me show you this. Right, it wants me to allow the secure connection to connect to Ledger Live. All right. All right, notice here that up at the very top it says genuine check, and there's a little check mark, right? That just means that the device has just passed the genuine check. If there was something wrong, if the device had been tampered with somehow, it would not pass the genuine check and it would alert you that that was the case, right? So, and you know, the idea here is that, okay, my package was kind of frayed on the edges. There's some fingerprints on the device, or there's a few scratches, or it doesn't look like the right cable, all that kind of stuff people obsess about and think, oh, my device has been hacked or tampered with or something like that. All those concerns should be allayed when you hit that genuine check, right? You know that it's a genuine device. The same thing holds for Trezor. There we go. Trezor has these are their top tier products: Trezor Safe 5, Trezor Safe 3. They have secure element chips that also run genuine checks. I'm going to see if they talk about it here. Protected by secure element. Confidence from day one. Okay, so here's where they talk about integrity a little bit. Now, their products are also sealed, but they do have an integrity check. Where do they mention? Here it is. Well, they have one. I just don't know where it is. Yeah, they have a genuine check on Trezor devices as well. Now, the vulnerability that was discovered in the article that we talked about was the fact that Trezor has a secure element chip and a coprocessor, right? So you got I don't know which is which here, but the secure element chip is a security chip, same chip you would find on your in your credit card, that little chip when you use your chip reader. Those are security devices, right? And so crypto wallets have those too, but on crypto wallets, they're a little more functional and they can do genuine checks. But if part of that process is being controlled by a separate microcontroller, then there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But if someone can come in and alter the microcontroller to override the integrity check, then the tampering could be a threat, right? So it was a minor security flaw that was discovered, reported, and fixed, right? That's the way things should work. And these Ledger and Trezor are not the only two. Tangem also has an integrity check. Let's see. I know they have one. Biometric. Yeah. Okay. So the Tangem app verifies the authenticity of the chip and firmware. So this is, it's across a lot of different manufacturers of hardware wallets that there is an integrity check, right? It's cryptographic. There's usually a cryptographic key held on the device that verifies with the manufacturer that the device is genuine and has not been tampered with. It's a pretty standard thing. So, but it's all numbers, right? The number, and the strength of the integrity check relies on how those keys are managed and how secure the management is. Tangem has a closed system. The card never reveals the private key to the user and keeps it safe and secure offline. Trezor is the same. The key is revealed to the user through the device, but it's never, the private key is never sent to the software. The same with Ledger, right? You can see what's going on the screen of the device, and the integrity check takes place on the secure element of the device. But if that number is being moved around between a coprocessor, then there's a possibility that process could be interrupted, right? And I'm sure they have accounted for that, but there was a small vulnerability that was discovered in the Trezor, which has since been fixed, right? But the idea of the integrity check should, I just wanted you to be able to wrap your head around it. It is a cryptographic key or a really long number that gets stored on the device that allows it to interface with a public key on the server to verify the integrity of the device. I know it's kind of it's kind of long-winded, but that's how it works. Let's see. We just hit 7 o'clock. I think I lost some time moving crypto around, but I wanted to get that done early on. So we moved some Bitcoin. The Bitcoin hit the wallet. It's confirmed now. That's good stuff, right? We also moved some base token, which we don't see in the Ethereum wallet, because even though it was US dollar coin, we didn't use the Ethereum network. We used the base network, which we can see in Ledger Live. You can create a base account on your device. Notice that the address is the same, right? So if we hit receive, it ends in 0B373. If we do the same thing in our Ethereum account and hit receive, I'm bypassing the hardware check because we're just looking at addresses, right? It's the same address, right? Just a different network on that address. So we moved some US dollar coin in base format over into our Ledger device, basically, but on the base network, which we can monitor from here, or in a third-party wallet like Rabby. You saw me do that earlier, right? We can just kind of take a look at Rabby and see that we got that US dollar coin here, right? This wallet is based on my Ledger device. And we also moved some Solana, which you can see here on Solana STAX. Solana's at 135. It was down around 124, but last couple months ago, it was 239, I think, hit its high. So, I was doing a little dip buying tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed that. We'll see. If the whole market crashes, I'm just going to hang on to everything. I try to, not spend my crypto whenever possible. All right. Well, let's see. I don't see any burning questions tonight. Let me go down here just a little bit. Okay, you guys are kind of quiet tonight. Dan wasn't here tonight. Neither was JDO. So I hope they're both doing well, and I thank them for everything that they do. Let's go over here. Let's go ahead and maybe I'll do a standalone video on the Caspa wallet or the uphold to Caspa next week or something. I've always got a lot of ambition when I get started and then get behind sometimes. But that's okay. We didn't have any epic fails tonight. So I'll be here again next week. Join me again for the live stream from Michigan, where you can throw out questions and I'll do my best to get them answered. 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hope to see you there. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you'd like to subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it. When you subscribe, there's a little bell that you can click that will allow you to be alerted whenever I post new content. Once again, thanks for joining me and hope to see you again soon. I want to thank everyone that was here, Dustin and Shadow for gifting memberships, Kenny for the news. As always, thank you for all the regulars that were here tonight. Thank you for all the questions. And if I didn't get to your question, shoot me an email, thecryptodad@gmail.com. Also, before I just wanted to show you guys this. I forgot to show this early on. Ledger has given me a new landing page. During Black Friday, they had given me a landing page for the Black Friday deals. Well, now they've given me this landing page. It's permanent now, and they will always give you $10 worth of Bitcoin when using one of my affiliate links. So when you click my affiliate link, which I've got down here, the new CryptoDad landing page in the description. When you click that link, it'll take you here to my landing page, and they will always give you a $10 Bitcoin voucher when making purchases using my affiliate link. Also, whenever there's specials and deals, they will automatically update the page for me. So now I don't have to post a new link for every new deal that they have. like the Black Friday link or the the $70 worth of Bitcoin link that we had during Black Friday. Now my link will stay the same, and my landing page will get updated. So if they're giving away more Bitcoin than $10, they'll just fold it in. They're not going to throw an extra $10 worth of Bitcoin on top, as far as I understand. But they'll always maintain the $10 worth of Bitcoin whenever you use my link. Kind of excited that they've got this nice, beautiful landing page for me where you can purchase safe and secure Ledger products. I think it's really cool. I've been working with Ledger. I bought my first Ledger in 2017. So check that out, guys. And thanks again for being here on the live stream. And I will see you guys again next week. Good night, everybody. That handsome lad was generated with AI, but it is based on a bunch of pictures of me. Anyway, thanks. Good night, everybody.